Today in the studio, we have Kiran Jethwa, chef, entrepreneur, restaurateur, TV personality, and now gastronaut. A third-generation Kenyan, Kiran is blazing the trail as Kenya's first celebrity chef and is staking a claim for Africa on the global food scene.
Do you reckon that bad boy is?
I'm Assaias, founder of African Speakers and Artists, and I'd like to welcome you to our Trailblazer interview series. There's been an explosion in entrepreneurship and innovation right across Africa. Does Africa Rising apply to the food scene the way you see it?
I mean, it applies to everything, I think across the board. I was in a meeting the other day in Bahrain, and the chap that I was with threw quite an interesting statistic at me. By 2050, between Africa and the Middle East, a third of the population of the planet will be spread between Africa and the Middle East. Everyone's talking about the boom in China and the boom between Africa and the Middle East. One in three people will come from those two regions. So, okay, let's concentrate on Africa. It's a lot of mouths to feed. And that's why everybody is coming in here. You know, it's just people equals opportunity equals, you know, economy, whatever you want to call it. Everybody needs to eat. So whichever end of the spectrum you're at, whether you're the bottom end or the top end from price point, it's a lot of people. And, you know, in this part of the world, particularly Kenya, there's a booming middle class, discerning customer, people are slightly more educated. As a result, you know, consumer demands are higher, expectations are higher. And so, yes, I think it probably applies more to the food scene than to any other, because that is one commonality that we share, is everyone needs to eat.
What do you see as the next kind of big thing in the region and continent's culinary journey?
I don't think there's a next sort of concept that's going to come here in terms of it's going to revolutionize. You know, you couldn't say that's it, because the problem with the food industry is, you know, there's all the way through. You've got high end, middle, you know. What you are seeing though is a lot of the big brands starting to come here, and I think that's kind of the next.
For events thing. Or to set up shop?
This is for food, for restaurants. You know, that's kind of it at the moment. They do their market research. They don't just come into an area like this blindly because they spend a lot of money. They are very good indicators that there's obviously a lot of activity and a lot of sort of opportunity in the sector.